Healthcare reform is good for the people of Guam, says Guam Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo in a statement released to PNC News following the governor's threat of legal action against Obamacare last Friday. Bordallo wrote to the governor pointing out that Obamacare provides critical patient protections like ensuring those with pre-existing conditions have coverage and children up to the age of 26 can remain on their parents' health insurance plans. This legislation, she writes, is not perfect, but it does increase Guam's Medicaid funding to $268 million through 2019. Governor Calvo agrees that there are some positive benefits, but as far as the Medicaid funding, Guam is getting treated differently from the states.
The same with the Medicaid expansion. That potentially could work, but with the current formulas now where we have to pay 45%, and the federal government pays 45%, where every other state in the nation, 100% is paid by the federal government till 2016, and then 90% is paid by the federal government, henceforth, I think, till 2020. How can a government that is right now trying to get itself out of a deficit afford that type of inequity?
But it's the insurance exchange provision of Obamacare that the governor has said would bankrupt GovGuam with its $75 million in tax credits that would have to be paid out of the Guam Treasury. Calvo says that provision might work if Guam were treated like the other states, but it's not.
That would make sense if we, number one, if we could, again, either work on a regional basis or work collaboratively with agencies here within the government of Guam. But we're not, excuse me, not the government of Guam, but the island of Guam. But we're not. We're a different animal. It has to all be funded by the local government, the local taxpayer. That is something that I'm hoping that the delegate could address. Maybe we could look at this in a different manner if the tax credits are paid for by the Treasury, as all the other states.
The problem right now, says Calvo, is that no one in Washington, or even here on Guam yet, knows precisely how the various provisions of Obamacare will apply to Guam. Will legal action be necessary?
Well, that's something we're looking at, but there's a potentiality. We want to see how we are tied into this, and whether we are mandated. And let's say through the expansion of Medicaid, maybe there are ways that we can opt out of the Medicaid as well, and then of course be creative and work collaboratively with all healthcare providers and all vested interests here in Guam to establish a healthcare system that would work for Guam.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.
And how this